Okay, we're doing the Excel Specialist Prep 2019, and I'm going to get as much of this done here in a segment here. So I'm just reading off the instructions while I show you the screen over here. So number one, in the sample budget, I can just slide this over here. In the sample budget worksheet, set the print area to B2 through E25 and allow for printed grid lines, hint, page setup, sheet tab. All right. So I'm going to make sure I'm in the sample budget worksheet, which I am. I'm going to select B2 through E25 with my white cross. I'm going to go to page layout and print area, set print area. All right. Then I'm going to go to the page setup sheet tab, which is, of course, right. See, allow for print grid lines. Yes, of course. So I click on the page setup dialog box launcher, go to the sheet tab, and I want to allow for or print grid lines. That's in my settings of page setup. That is number one. Once again, on number two, I'm in the sample budget worksheet on the expenses chart. Use select data to switch the column and row head settings, change the chart fill color to aqua accent 5 lighter 40%. So I want to select the expenses chart up here. All right. And I'm going to use my chart tools design tab to select data. And I want to switch, and I'm going to just show you what happens here when I change it and say switch rows and columns. I've got my various expense items here, okay, and okay here. And under Format tab, for my chart fill color, which would be my shape fill up here, shape fill. Again, I'm kind of finding my way here. We're using Aqua Accent 5 lighter 40%. There we go. There's that color right there. And click off somewhere, and there is my chart. Okay, number three. In items for sale worksheet, that's going to be the fourth tab down there. Let's get my instructions back up. In cell F4, use the left function to grab the first three characters from the phone number in cell E4. Autofill the results through row 40. Okay. So I'm in cell F4. And I'm going to use the, again, the left function. So again, equals. And I'm going to start typing left. And again, I'm grabbing the area code. So here's where I'm getting into just what's called a string or a group of characters. In this case, is a phone number. I'm going to select E4 and say comma, and I would like the first three characters from that phone number. Now, we've done a little bit of concatenate, which you might have seen in, I think, practice exam in Excel chapter 1. I'm going to close that with a right parenthesis and check mark. So this phone number has an area code, or the first three digits is 604. And using my autofill black cross, I'm going to go down to row 40. Okay, that's number three. Number four, in the summary worksheet, enter a formula in cell B4, which calculates the average of cells C4 through D4 from the sample budget worksheet. Autofill the formula down to row 24. Okay, and always make sure you're in the right worksheet. So I'm going to go to the summary worksheet. I'm in cell B4. I'm using the average function. Now I could go up here. Either I could start, say, equals and just start typing average, or I could go up here to my auto sum and say average. And it's going, well, where's your argument at? Where's the stuff at? Well, it's in sample budget. It's where I'm going to be averaging. And I'm going to be averaging cells C4 through D4. And you can see me building that formula up here. So I'm actually accessing the actual expense table here from a table of information. Check mark. And it will record that average in cell B4 of the worksheet that I was in. Then I'm going to autofill that down to where I get the average of all my various items from the sample budget worksheet. That was number 4. Number 5, in the student file worksheet, name the range C4 through C30 as employee names. Student file worksheet. I'm going to select C4 through C30, my white cross. And to name the range, all I have to do is go up here to my name box and click. I'm going to call this employee names. Enter. So now that range C4 through C30 is also known as employee names. So I click off somewhere and go back. There's my range. Okay. Question 6, in the student file worksheet, which I'm currently in cell D37, use the count if function. Now we're getting ahead of ourselves here a little bit. We're just going to be practicing to count the number of employees in the range I5 through I30 who earned more than $100 overtime pay. Hint, criteria parameter must be in quotes. Okay, so what are we talking about there? D37. Okay, D37. Count if, so let me just say equals. Count if. Count the number of cells within a range that meet a given condition. Okay. So I'm going to select I5 through I30. That's my range. Now instead of I5 through I30, it called that overtime pay, comma. And what am I counting? Everybody that earned more than $100. Now I got to put this in quotes. Quote. And by the way, we're going to get into left hand, less than, right hand, greater than. Left hand, less than, right hand, greater than 100, right quote. That's my condition. That's what I'm looking for. And then close it with a parenthesis and check mark. And there's 4 employees that earn more than $100 of overtime pay. Question 7. In the items for sale worksheet in cell C41, use the count if function to count the number of blank pricing cells in range C4 through C40. Okay. Count if. That's in the items for sale. C41 equals count if C4 through C40, comma, that's my range. I'm looking for everything that's blank. Now I could do a bunch of different things, but what I can just do is double quotes, which is quoting nothing. We would call this a null or a nothing search. We're searching for nothing. We have nothing between the quotes. Right parenthesis, check mark. 5. 5 cells up here are blank in that range using the count if function. Question 8. The student file worksheet in cell D39. Use the average if function, average net pay in column L, which have a pay greater than 800. That's a number 8. Student file. Cell D39 equals average if. My range is column L. So I'm going to select all the data. like so, comma, they have a net pay greater than 800. So kind of like what I did before, I'm going to put quotes, greater than, left hand less than, right hand greater than 800, right parenthesis, close it. And we're looking for all the net pay that's greater than 800, and we're going to average those. So it's going to find every one that's greater than 800, and it's going to perform an average. Check mark, 963.